Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. And yesterday we started al-Qawa'id-ul-Arba, and we had a word here that was mansub, and we didn't know why. Ad-Deen, why was it mansub? Then what I was able to find out is that it is maf'ulun bihi of the mukhlis here, right? I'lam, know, arshadakallah li ta'atihi, that may Allah guide you to His obedience. And al-Hanifiyya millata Ibrahim, that al-Hanifiyya millata Ibrahim, and ta'budullaha, is that you worship Allah wahdahu, alone, mukhlisan lahu-d-din, mukhlisan, sincerely to Him, lahu, to Him, ad-din, sincere in the religion. So you're being sincere in what? Basically, sincere in the religion. It's the maf'ulun bihi. That's the reason it's mansub, and I apologize for not having that before class yesterday. If we go down and continue where we left off, we say فَإِذَا دَخَلَ الشِّرْكُ بِالْعِبَادَةِ فَسَدَتْ كَالْحَدَثِ إِذَا دَخَلَ فِي الطَّهَارَةِ كما قال تعالى وما كان للمشركين أن يعمروا مساجد الله شاهدين على أنفسهم بالكفر أولئك حبطت أعمالهم وفي النار هم خالدون. He says فإذا دخل الشرك, and this is prefixed by what we spoke about yesterday that we can just read real quick. فإذا عرفت أن الله خلقك لعبادته, and this is what it talked about on the first page after making dua, that our purpose was to be to worship Allah. The purpose of our creation was to worship Allah. إذا عرفت, so then if you know أن الله خلقك لعبادته, that Allah created you for His worship, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ الْعِبَادَةَ, then know that ibadah لا تسمى عبادة, is not called ibadah إلا مع توحيد, except with tawheed. كما أن الصلاة, just like salat, لا تسمى صلاة, is not called salat إلا مع طهارة, except with tahara. Wa alaikum salam, Amir. So then we finish that. So the preface is ibadah is not called ibadah except with tawheed. Salah is not called salah except with tahara. فَإِذَا دَخَلَ الشِّرْكُ فِي الْعِبَادَةِ فَسَدَتْ. فَإِذَا, so when or if, دَخَلَ الشِّرْك, the shirk is the file here. So if shirk enters fil ibadah, into ibadah, fasadat. Fasadat meaning to be spoiled or ruined, from fa, sin, dal, right? If something is spoiled, it's fasid, right? Something rotten, it's fasid. So إذا دخل الشرك في العبادة فسدت. If shirk enters into ibadah, it's ruined or spoiled or rotten. كالحدث إذا دخل في الطهارة. Ka is like. Ka is like. Al-hadath, which is from the same root as hadith, right? But it doesn't have anything to do with that here. Hadath here, hadath actually is something that is said or something that happens. Right? So that's why it's called a hadith. Something that happens, something that is said, right? Al-hadith. So hadatha here means something that happens to your, basically your body parts and affects your tahara, which means, you know, passing gas or urinating or defecating or sleep or something which affects your tahara. Kal hadith. This is called hadith. You have hadith al-akbar and hadith al-asgar. Al-hadith al-akbar would be to have a wet dream or relations with your family, right? Well, hadith al-asgar is to pass, you only need wudu. Al-akbar, you need ghusl. Al-asgar, you need wudu. So hadith is whatever you want to call it, impurity or I don't know. Al-hadith إذا دخل في الطهارة. So إذا دخل الشرك في العبادة فسدت. If shirk enters into ibadah, it is ruined. كالحدث إذا دخل في الطهارة. Like hadath, if it enters into tahara, then it's ruined likewise, right? كما قال تعالى, just as Allah the Most High said, or just as the Most High said, ما كان للمشركين أن يعمروا مساجد الله شاهدين على أنفسهم بالكفر أولئك حبطت أعمالهم وفي النار هم خالدون. ما كان, ma is a negation, negating what's coming after it. Kana lil mushrikeen, it was for the mushrikeen. So the ma here means it's not or it is not for the mushrikeen, right? And ya'muru masajid Allah, and ya'muru masajid Allah. Ya'muru here means to. Amara we learned inside of al-Qawa'id-ul-Rashida, and when we had conversation the other day with al-Akh al-Fadl Sulaiman, he said, Kam umruk. Umr is your life, right? Your umr is your life. Kam umruk. What is your age, right? So here, ya'muru means to give life to something, but we're not talking about like breathing a ruh into it. It's like a metaphorical giving life, which is to maintain something. So if you go into a building and it's all dusty and the furniture is knocked over and the books are not on the shelf, and you go in there and you straighten it up and you dust it up, it's like you're giving life to the building again, if that's clear to you, right? You're giving, no one has been there, you're giving it life, you're maintaining it, you're erecting it, you're preserving it, right? And ya'muru masajid Allah. Ma kana lil mushrikeen, and mushrikun is mushrikeen because of the lit, right? So it was mushrikun, it became mushrikeen. Ma kana lil mushrikeen and ya'muru masajid Allah. It's not for the mushrikeen to maintain, to preserve, to take care of the houses of Allah. Shahidina ala anfusihim. Shahidina ala anfusihim. While bil kufr. While they are witnesses, shahideen, they are shahideen, which is could also be shuhada, right? Shahideen, they are witnesses ala anfusihim, upon themselves. Anfus is the plural of nafs. Nafs, which is self or soul. Ala anfusihim, upon themselves. Bil kufr, with disbelief. So they themselves testify to their disbelief. Is not for them to maintain the houses of Allah. Ulaika, those. We have ha'ulai, which is these, right? Ha'ulai, which is these. Ulaika is those. Habitat a'maluhum. We know habitat a'maluhum. We know this from Nawaqid al-Islam. Ahbata a'maluhum, right? Those who turn away from learning the religion of Allah. Or which one is it? Which naqd is it? Who remembers? those who made, no. Which one is it, Ya Akhwan? Those who dislike something which the religion came with, right? The ayat is, the proof is, the dalil is. Huh? He says, من أبغض بشيء من دين رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم ولو عمل به ذلك بأنهم كرهوا ما أنزل الله فأحبط أعمالهم. Something, they hate something that the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم came with, even if they act on it. أحبط أعمالهم. This habita is the same one. Their deeds, أعمالهم, are wiped out. وفي النار هم خالدون. And in the hellfire, they are everlasting. Or they are everlasting in the hellfire. So if we start at the top real quick. فإذا دخل الشرك في العبادة فسدت. So if shirk enters into ibadah, it is spoiled or ruined. كالحدث إذا دخل في الطهارة. Just like al-hadath is things that break wudu if they enter upon tahara. كما قال تعالى, just وعليكم السلام.
Do you see? Did you see?
Yeah,
on
I see
there
it.
as a? Okay.
But I don't know what to do, you know, it's constant like that,
Okay.
you know. كما قال تعالى. If someone could type into them to go out and come back in or something, because I don't know what to, you know. كما قال تعالى, just as the Most High said, ما كان للمشركين أن يعمروا مساجد الله. It is not for the mushrikeen that they maintain the houses of Allah. شاهدين على أنفسهم بالكفر. While they witness upon themselves kufr. أولئك حبطت أعمالهم. Those are those who they have nullified their deeds, or the deeds have been nullified. وفي النار هم خالدون. And in the hellfire they are khalidun, from khalada, meaning khalid here means to be forever. Khalidun, right? To be forever. Now, a couple points here. Just
habitat.
No.
What now? What did you say that translate as?
Nullified or wiped out or made void. Right? Any deeds they do will not have any weight. They will be made null and void due to their kufr and shirk. So, number one, the first thing I want to bring out here is ya'muru. Ya'muruna is the actual verb. Ya'muruna. To maintain or preserve or give life to, like this. But when you put the N in front of ya'muru, it was singular. Ya'muru, this second dhamma on top of the ra would become a fatha. It's mansoob, and ya'mura. When it becomes ya'muruna, when it's a plural, then this noon here is taking the place of our fatha. Right? So, our dhamma rather, our dhamma. Right? The noon is taking place of the dhamma. So when we want to make it mansoob, we're going to drop that dhamma and we're just going to add an alif. Basically, the sign of the mansoob here is called hadf noon, which means to drop the noon. Because you can't put a fatha here and ya'mura and still have our wow. It won't happen. That's not going to happen. So you have to just drop your noon and it becomes ya'muru.
يحمروا
With the aleph.
With the aleph to protect the wow, yes. And masajid is mansoob because it is the object of the ya'muru, right? Ya'muru masajid Allah. Any questions about this paragraph here?
Yes.
About
Why is it حبطت مؤنث?
because a'mal is plural, and a'mal is the fa'il here due to the dhamma we see, right? A'maluhum is plural, not amal, which is singular, but a'mal, and we know that non-intellectual ghayr al-aql plurals are treated like feminine singular, right?
Okay.
Anything else?
في النار.
Okay, read for us, Ya Muharram.
فإذا دخل الشرك في العبادة فسدت كالحدث إذا دخل في الطهارة كما قال تعالى ما كان للمشركين أن يعمروا مساجد الله شاهدين على أنفسهم بالكفر أولئك حبطت أعمالهم وفي النار هم خالدون.
نعم يا زبير.
فإذا دخل الشرك في العبادة فسدت كالحدث إذا دخل في الطهارة كما قال تعالى ما كان للمشركين أن يعمروا مساجد الله
I don't hear it though.
You with us, Zubair?
شاهدين على أنفسهم. Can you hear me?
No.
Did you read?
شاهدين على أنفسهم, that's where we have the last thing.
شاهدين على أنفسهم بالكفر أولئك حبطت أعمالهم وفي النار هم خالدون.
نعم جزاك الله خيرا. أبو طاهر.
فإذا دخل الشرك في العبادة فسدت كالحدث إذا دخل في الطهارة كما قال تعالى ما كان للمشركين أن يأمروا مساجد الله شاهدين على أنفسهم بالكفر أولئك حبطت أعمالهم وفي النار هم خالدون.
نعم. أمير. عبد الله.
فإذا دخل الشك في العبادة فسدت كالحدث إذا دخل في الطهارة كما قال تعالى ما كان للمشركين أن يعمروا مساجد الله شاهدين على أنفسهم بالكفر أولئك حبطت أعمالهم وفي النار هم خالدون.
نعم. الله يبارك فيكم. You know, I can tell when you guys are kind of understanding, when you like pause at the right places and make your voice tone the right way and stuff. It's mashallah. إذا عرفت أن الشرك إذا خالط العبادة أفسدها وأحبط العمل وصار صاحبه من الخالدين في النار عرفت أن أهم ما عليك معرفة ذلك لعل الله أن يخلصك من هذه الشبكة وهي الشرك بالله. فإذا عرفت So if you knew, or if you know, أن الشرك الشرك إذا خالت العبادة, if it mixes. خالت is from خا لام طا, which is to mix, right? Like we talk about the mixing between the sexes is called اختلاط. اختلاط, right? This is the mixing between the sexes that's prohibited in Islam, right? اختلاط. إذا خالت العبادة, if shirk mixes with ibadah, أفسدها, it ruins it, right? Up above, I can pull it up. Let's see if I can get it right there together.
Fasadat.
Here it says fasadat, because the ibadah itself is being, this is form 1, the ibadah itself is being ruined. Whereas afsada, form 4, here it has an effect on other than itself. So afsadaha, this is the shirk doing the ruining. Fasada here, the ibadah itself is ruined. Afsadaha, the shirk is ruining the ibadah. It's because of the shirk up here, but the verb fasadat is referring to ibadah, meaning the ibadah is ruined. Whereas afsadaha here, the shirk ruins it. If you can see the difference in the way the verb is being used. Everybody gets situated, I'll continue, inshallah.
السلام عليكم.
Wa alaikum salam.
نعم أستيقظ يا أخي.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
If I just want to say, I sent a message out. I don't want to be a jerk, but the more noise goes in the background, the more I yell, trying to talk over it, because I keep hearing it and everyone else is hearing it. So I just keep raising my voice and scream over it. By the time, 20, 30 minutes into class, I'm screaming. If somebody's doing something, moving around, could they please mute their microphone or something during that time so that I don't have to yell and scream? I know everyone is, sacrificing their time, and I appreciate it, and everyone else does, because the more people in the class, the better it becomes, because someone else sees a question or thinks of a question that they didn't think of, but it benefits them. So it's great to have more people. That makes the class more lively and more beneficial. But we have to mute our microphones, because the more background noise, it just disrupts the class. Jazakumullah khairan. We still have to be students. We're trying to learn here. So here, fasadat is from ibadah. The shirk is the one doing it, but the conversation here is not about the shirk doing it to it. It's about the ibadah being spoiled. Here, this is more talking about the shirk doing the spoiling. It's more of an active and a passive type of conversation. Is that Miriam, you are muted from our side. I don't know how you cannot hear anything. You should be able to hear, because I never touched, the women are never unmuted. Hopefully this is clear, inshallah ta'ala, this afsada and fasada, that the fasada is like something happening to itself, even if it's for an outside reason, and the afsada is more talking about something doing the spoiling, inshallah ta'ala. وإذا عرفت أن الشرك إذا خالت العبادة أفسدها. So if it's known, or if you know that shirk, if it mixes with ibadah, it spoils it. وأحبط العمل, and it ruins or wipes out the actions, right? This is the same thing. Habita is the actions themselves ruining, right? But here, ahbata is the kind of, would you say, reflexive, I think, which the shirk is doing the ruining and wiping out, right? Well, ahbata al-amal, and it wipes out the action. Well, Sara is one of those akhawatu kana, right? Sara is from the akhawatu kana. Sara means to become. To become, or yeah, meaning to have one thing and to move to another. That's the meaning of Sara, like to become. Was Sara sahibuhu, and sahibuhu meaning the companion of it, the companion of shirk. Was Sara sahibuhu, and its companion becomes min al-khalidina fin-nar, min al-khalidina fin-nar, from those who will be in the hellfire forever. Here we have khalidina, here we have khaliduna, right? Khaliduna, because here actually it is the khabar, right? Khalidina here because it's after min, fin-nar. And فَإِذَا عَرَفْتَ, so if you know, أَنَ الشِّرْكَ إِذَا خَالَتَ الْعِبَادَةَ, that if shirk, when it mixes with ibadah, أَفْسَدَهَا, it ruins it, وَأَحْبَتَ الْعَمَلِ, and it makes null or wipes out the action, وَصَارَ صَاحِبُهُ مِنَ الْخَالِدِينَ فِي النَّارِ, and its companion becomes from those who will be in the hellfire forever. Arafta, you know. So if you know this, arafta, you know, anna ahamma ma alayka ma'rifatu dhalik. Then you know that aham, from the word ham, right? When something is ham or muhim, it's important, right? Muhim or ham. Here, aham is like ahsan and akbar. It is a superlative. So it means arafta anna ahamma. Then you know that the most important ma alayka, of what is upon you, meaning what obligation you have. Ma'rifatu dhalik is to know that. Then you need to know shirk. Ma'rifatu dhalik, to know that, or knowledge of that. فَإِذَا عَرَفْتَ أَنَّ الشِّرْكَ, I'm just going to say it in English, and then we'll go through it. If you know that shirk, when it mixes with ibadah, it spoils it, and that it wipes out the action, and its companion becomes from those who dwell in the hellfire forever, then you know that then you have learned, or you have known, the most important thing upon you is to know that, to know shirk. La'alla Allah, or maybe Allah. La'alla is from the akhwatu inna. La'alla, meaning perhaps or maybe, right? And it could mean hopefully, depending on the context. If I say la'allaka sahih or salim, meaning hopefully you're safe and healthy, then this means I hope, not just maybe and perhaps. But it could have the meaning of perhaps and maybe, and here it could have the meaning of hopefully as well. La'alla Allah, hopefully Allah, or perhaps Allah, and yukhallisaka. Yukhallisaka, from the word kha lam sad, which we know as, we have ikhlas. Ikhlas is sincerity, right? Or purity. But because when you have, for instance, when you have honey, right? You have honey. When you take the honey from the comb and you get rid of all of this bad stuff in it, all the pollen or wings or whatever might be in the honey, and you purify it, that's called akhlasa, or to purify something, right? To make it clean and pure from something. That's why it's called ikhlas, to be pure from shirk and associating partners, because it's the process of purifying something. So here, لَعَلَّ اللَّهَ أَن يُخَلِّسَكَ, that Allah will purify you, Allah will save you, Allah will remove from you all the impurities, min هذه shabaka, from this, from هذه, this shabaka. Shabaka, I'm sure most of us know this word here. Shubbak. Shubbak, meaning a window. Shubbak, window. Another word we learned from window is nafida. Nafidatun. Nafida. Wallahi, I spent a lot of years wondering what's the difference between a shubbak and a nafida. Right? And then I read al-Qawa'id-ul-Arba. I read al-Qawa'id-ul-Arba. And another book I had, it was a story about fishing. A shabaka is a net. A net. Right? It could also be like the spider's web. Right? Oh, it's something, like this, a spider's web, a net. So a shubbak is a window with a screen in it, and a nafida is a window that doesn't have a screen in it. But they're used interchangeably, right? لَعَلَّ اللَّهَ أَن يُخَلِّسَكَ مِنْ هَذِهِ الشَّبَكَةِ, and that perhaps Allah will, or hopefully Allah will purify you or save you مِنْ هَذِهِ الشَّبَكَةِ, from this net, from this trap, meaning this trap of shirk. By knowing it, inshallah ta'ala, by you knowing the importance of it and knowing that it can wipe out your deeds, لَعَلَّ اللَّهَ أَن يُخَلِّسَكَ, perhaps Allah will purify you مِنْ هَذِهِ الشَّبَكَةِ, from this net. وَهِيَ الشِّرْكُ بِاللَّهِ, and it is shirk in Allah. This net, هِيَ الشِّرْكُ بِاللَّهِ. Are there any questions? Zubair and Amir, if you have questions, let off your mic, no problem. No questions? Amir, you have a question?
No, I kind of see a little bit.
Okay. Zubair, if you got a question, ask it, no problem. If not, Abu Tahir, Iqra lana. Abu Tahir, you with us?
Nah, I can't hear that well, but you talking to me, right?
Yeah, read for us, inshallah.
فإذا عرفت أن الشرك إذا خالط العبادة أفسدها وأحبط الأعمال وصار صاحبه من الخالدين في النار، عرفت أن أهم ما عليك معرفة ذلك، لعل الله أن يخلصك من هذه الشبكة، وهي الشرك بالله.
نعم. يا محرم.
فإذا عرفت أن الشرك إذا خلط العبادة أفسدها وأحبط العمل وصار صاحبه من الخالدين في النار، عرفت أن أهم ما عليك معرفة ذلك، لعل الله أن يخلصك من هذه الشبكة وهي الشرك بالله.
نعم. يلا أمير.
فإذا عرفت أن الشرك إذا خلط العبادة أفسدها وأحبط العمل وصار صاحبه بالنار جالدين
خالدين.
في النار خالدين في النار. عرفت أن أهم مال عليك معرفة ذلك لعلها أن يخلصك من هذه الشبكة وهي الشرك بالله.
جزاك الله خيرا. You're next after Abdullah, Zubair. Abdullah.
فإذا عرفت أن الشرك إذا خلط العبادة أفسدها وأحبط العمل وصار صاحبه من الخالدين في النار. عرفت أن أهم ما عليك معرفة ذلك لعل الله أن يخلصك من هذه الشبكة وهي الشرك بالله.
Can you hear me?
نعم.
Can you hear me?
نعم.
فإذا عرفت أن الشرك إذا خالط العبادة أفسدها وأحبط العمل وصار صاحبه من الخالدين في النار. عرفت أن أهم ما عليك معرفة ذلك لعل الله أن يخلصك من هذه الشبكة وهي الشرك بالله.
نعم. الله يبارك فيكم.
Is it any better when I turned off the mic? Does it make difference?
I don't know if it was you. I don't know who it is. I don't know. That's what I was saying. But it was better when you and Amir were definitely shut off. But it's not bad listening to you now, so I don't know if it was you. Alhamdulillah.
Because I'm driving, it could be that.
It could be, no. وذلك بمعرفة أربع قواعد ذكرها الله تعالى في كتابه. And that is, meaning to be safe from this shabaka, that ma'rifah that we need. ذلك بمعرفة أربع قواعد ذكرها الله تعالى في كتابه. And that is with knowing or with knowledge, with awareness, ma'rifah, arba'i qawa'id. This is mudaf ilay, ma'rifati arbi, the knowledge of arba'i qawa'id. This is mudaf ilay and this is mudaf ilay. Right? Arba'i is majroor after ma'rifati. Ma'rifati is majroor after bit, right? With knowledge of four qawa'id. Qawa'id is mamnu min as-sarf, so it's majroor with a fatha. Its sign of jar is a fatha because it's mamnu min as-sarf. وَذَلِكَ بِمَعْرِفَةِ أَرْبَعِ قَوَاعِدَ. That is with knowing 4 rules. ذَكَرَهَا اللَّهُ. Allah, lafzul jalala is the fa'il, right? Allah mentioned them. He mentioned them. Who mentioned them? Allah. Allah mentioned them. Allah Ta'ala mentioned them. Fi kitabihi, in his book. Any questions about that? We'll start, inshallah. Al-Qa'idatul-Ula. Al-Qa'ida can also be Qa'id, right? And it can also be Qa'ida. There are certain words that can be masculine and feminine, and there's no reason for the difference in it, but it could be this or it could be that, inshallah. Al-Qa'idatul-Ula, the first rule, and ta'lam, that you know, أن الكفار الذين قاتلهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مقرون أن الله هو الخالق الرزاق الخالق الرازق المحيي المميت المدبر لجميع الأمور ولم يدخلهم ذلك في الإسلام. And Al-Qa'idatul Ula is that you know, or Naam, and Ta'lam, that you know, and Al-Kuffar, that the Kuffar, it could be Kafiruna, and it could be Kuffar. Both of those are the plural of Kafir, right? And Al-Kuffar Alladhina, the Kuffar who, or which, Alladhina, those who, or which, or who, or however you want to translate it, قاتلهم قاتل, you said قتل is to kill. قتل is to kill. Could come from one side. قاتل is to fight. To fight. Right? To fight. Showing that there's participation between both sides. And al-kuffar alladhina qatalahum Rasulullah. Rasul here is the file. So that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam fought. That you know that the kuffar that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam fought. Muqirruna. Muqirruna from qarara. Or qarra with the just the qaf ra. Qaf ra, if you're going to look it up, qaf ra, qarra, meaning to agree, to decide. When you have a taqreer, it's called a report. It's like the information you agree on submitting to the mudir, or the person in charge, right? Qarrara is to decide or to agree on something. They were muqirruna. They were in agreement. The kuffar alladhina qatalahum Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the kuffar that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam fought, muqirruna anna Allah huwa al-khaliq al-raziq. They were in agreement that Allah, that Allah huwa al-khaliq al-raziq, that He is the creator, the sustainer. The Quraysh agreed to that. They said, Allah is the creator. He's the sustainer. Muhyi wa mumit. The one who gives life and death. Al-Muhyi from Hayat. Right? Right? Hayat is life. Hay, right, is life. Al-Hay, Al-Hayyul Qayyum, the living, right? Al-Mumit, from the word mat. Right? Al-Muhyi wal-Mumit, the one who gives life and the one who gives death. The Quraysh agreed. Muqiruna anna Allah huwa al-Muhyi wal-Mumit. Al-Mudabbir. Al-Mudabbir from Dabara, actually with a shadda on the ba, Dabbara, but you will look it up, Dal Ba Ra. Here, Tadbir, right? It would be our masdar, tadbir. Mudabbir or dabbara is to arrange, to manage, right? To manage, meaning to take care of the details, right? To manage. Li jamil umur. Li is to or for. Jami' is another word we have for jami' is what? Kul, right? Li kulli al-umur is affair. Umur, affairs. Affairs. Right? الكفار الذين قاتلهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مقرون أن الله هو المدبر لجميع الأمور. They agreed that Allah is the mudabbir of all affairs, the arranger, the manager of all affairs. وَلَمْ يُدْخِلْهُمْ ذَلِكَ فِي الإسلام. وَلَمْ is negation, right? Negation of the past tense, but using a present tense verb. وَلَمْ يُدْخِلْهُمْ ذَلِكَ. ذَلِكَ here is our file. It doesn't have a dhamma because dhalika never changes. Not dhalika, dhaliki, dhaliku, like that, right? Dhalika. And that did not enter them. Yudkhilhum. That iqrar. That agreement. Right? Lam yudkhilhum. That did not enter them fil Islam. Into Islam. The fact that the kuffar agreed that Allah is the creator, the sustainer, the one who gives life and death, the one who arranges and manages all affairs, this does not enter them into Islam. This does not enter them into Islam, similar to if a Christian says, no, God the Father created everything, wa yadu billah, but Jesus is a God besides him, whatever. This does not enter them into Islam. The fact that they recognize Allah as the creator, as we'll see, you also need to worship him alone. The fact that you recognize that Allah is the creator, the sustainer, the giver of life and death, the arranger of all affairs, this will not enter you into Islam, as it did not enter the Quraysh into Islam. قاتلهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The messenger of Allah fought them. وهم مقرون. And they were in agreement with this. Right? وَلَمْ يُدْخِلْهُمْ ذَلِكَ فِي الْإِسْلام. And that did not enter them into Islam. Are there any questions? Okay, I don't know where we're going to get to. But if we could read here, say first Abu Tahir, وَذَلِكَ بِمَعْرِفَةِ أَرْبَعِ قَوَاعِدْ until Islam. You with us, Abu Tahir?
I can hear you now. You said read?
نعم اقرأ لنا إن شاء الله.
أن تعلم أن الكفار الذين قاتلهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مكرون أن الله هو الخالق الرازق المحيي المميت والمدبر لجميع الأمور ولم يدخلهم ذلك في الإسلام.
جزاك الله خيرا. يا Zubair, or Muharram. Zubair's got his mic muted. You go next, Zubair, inshallah, after Muharram.
وذلك بمعرفة أربع قواعد ذكرها الله تعالى في كتابه. القاعدة الأولى أن تعلم أن الكفار الذين قاتلهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مقرون أن الله هو الخالق الرازق المحيي المميت مدبر المدبر لجميع الأمور ولم يدخلهم ذلك في الإسلام.
نعم. غير.
وذلك بمعرفة 4 قواعد ذكرها الله تعالى في كتابه. القاعدة الأولى: أن تعلم أن الكفار الذين قاتلهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مقرون أن الله هو الخالق الرازق المحيي المميت المدبر لجميع الأمور ولم يدخلهم ذلك في الإسلام.
نعم. يلا يا عبد الله.
وذلك بمعرفة 4 قواعد ذكرها الله تعالى في كتابه. القاعدة الأولى: أن تعلم أن الكفار الذين
أن الكفار
الذين قتلهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مقرون أن الله هو الخالق الرازق المهلك المدبر لجميع الأمور ولم يدخلهم ذلك في الإسلام.
نعم. أمير.
وذلك بالمعرفة 4 قواعد ذكرها له تعالى في الكتاب. أن تعلم أن الكفر الذي الكفار الذي قاتلهم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مقرون أن الله هو الخالق الرازق المحيي المميت
محيي
المميت المدبر لجميع الأمور ولم يدخلهم ذلك في الإسلام.
نعم. الله يبارك فيكم. Inshallah ta'ala, for those who follow on the WhatsApp or on Telegram, I try to send out the audio every day. For those who need help, then just listen to the audio and try to repeat along with them until you can recite it smoother, inshallah ta'ala. And I'll send this audio out in just a little while, bidnillah. If there's any questions, as always, just email them or text them to me, inshallah ta'ala, and we'll see you brothers tomorrow, inshallah, for some more Qawa'id-ul-Arba, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.